And I believe in Nigeria, and I believe in the people of Nigeria. I believe in the next generation.
God doesn't make a mistake.
He doesn't actually, absolutely.
God doesn't make a mistake.
He doesn't. I agree with you totally. So let's move on. So in your earlier career, there must have been moments when your faith and business decisions seemed to conflict. Can you share a specific time when choosing the right path over the profitable path and how it defined you?
Okay, it keeps happening, but I'll tell you one, or tell you two. One is because my initial career was in the oil industry. The major thrust in the oil industry is to do a job in a very safe way, so that, in fact, some people have the lingo, come and work and go back home healthy. So safety was key. And one of the things about safety was that, and it's a law, I can't remember whether it's Moody now, or I can't remember the law, that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So you must create a barrier, right, to make sure that thing does not go wrong. And then you must have a recovery plan that in case it goes wrong, this is what I'll do. But faith says you should not think negative. So safety and should I say operations, to me was a bit challenging. But the company I work for, you have to work under very high safety standards, because we were contracted to Shell and other oil companies. So you had to work under very high safety standard. So instead of when he says that anything that is still Philippians 4, he says that anything that is how does he put it now? Anything that is glorious, anything that is worth a good report, and blah 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 blah. In Philippians, I think it's 4:8 now, right? He says, think of these things. So you realize that you had to be thinking of the negative, that this is what is good, may happen, this is what can happen, and you have to begin to make. So you realize I was conflicting with my faith, that look, don't think of negative, but now all the industry safety standards says think of all the negative that can come and begin to make a career. That is on the one side. On the other side is cutting corners. I've come to realize that you make money by cutting corners, right? But when you cut corners, in a few days, weeks, months, that corner that you cut will come back to you like a boomerang. And when you now have those failures and the company calls you back to redo it, you will realize that the cost of redoing that particular job is much more. So we've cut corners and we have learned from and I realize that it is not worth it. It is just, it's not worth it. Just go by what the Bible says. Integrity, and do what you have to do. And you go back home. If you make 2 naira, that 2 naira is in your pocket, and not that you make 5 naira and then you have to redo the job, which now means that you are owing the bank, right? So I mean, we've learned the hard way, and we have realized that the straight way
is always better.
Is the best way.
Referrals can come as
No, they do come. They do come.
There's always, where that's.
They do come. They come a lot.
So we have to really, really be mindful.
Yeah.
Business integrity is key.
Yeah.
Not just in business, I guess. In everything. Relationship.
In everything, integrity is key. Right.
Keys. Pays off. Well done. Thank you so much. All right. So, it was interesting part, but of course they are all interesting, and I'm happy that we're moving from one stage to another stage, right? Trying to touch all the areas that actually are made who he is today. Insight of insight. Wisdom of healing stuff. I like just like what the scripture says, precept upon precept. So it's line by line, you don't jump one step to another. Right, so let's move into the middle part of the line. So we're moving on to a very important part I love so much. I know. So tell us about meeting Dr. Kofo. What was it about her that made you think, this is the woman, this is the woman I want to build a life with? That's one. And then how has having a wife who is also accomplished in her own right shit, her life is already ongoing, right? So how did this whole thing shape your own journey? Yeah.
So two questions
in one. Yes. How did you meet her?
Now I don't know how many of my teenagers will listen to this conversation.
They don't have to listen to them.
Because
that's why I said it's important.
They will tell me that I'm not practicing what I preach. I met Tony, and I met my wife in kindergarten.
What? Did you hear that?
So, but we were just if I bring out my 3-year-old birthday pictures, you will see out there. If you bring out maybe 3, 4, 5-year-old pictures birthday. Now we also went to the same secondary school. And we were friends. But we were very close friends. So it was when I think maybe my final year in secondary school or my fourth year in, I think it was my final year. That was when weak dating came into play. Then she gave her life to Christ and we broke off when she was university. And even though I grew very close to people that encouraged me in the way of the Lord, I would say that my wife was very, very, very instrumental to me giving my life to Christ. But we were not dating anymore then.
Wow.
So it was after, I think when she was getting to 50 year, I was a year ahead of her. I think maybe when we were getting to year 3 or year 4, that we now started to date again.
Wow.
And the rest is history. Now she's accomplished.
Before you please don't be on so early. Just wait here. Before the years you giving out the story of how you met.
Wait. My teenagers will say,
no, we're not letting you go. Just wait.
I think you can date for.
No, but that was okay. That's the part you also have to make very clear if you can date. So 2 questions before you answer the second question. Say only 1 question, but before you answer the second question, firstly, it was What was that thing? Yes, you just mentioned about she being instrumental to what how okay the how is not there because she was even okay it's like you mirrored her okay she mirrored her life to you or something like that just explain what was that thing that is it a thing or group of things or whatever or a moment or an event that really you looked at and said oh she's just the one
I graduated at 21. We started dating probably at first phase of dating, maybe I was 16 or 17. Then we broke up. We came back together maybe when I was 19. So, what do I when I didn't even know myself. When you knew that the only thing the only thing I knew is that she was on fire for God. I just given my life to Christ.
And you don't know what she's doing.
I know what she's doing, and me too. I was starting to, right? So we became very close. We became very friendly, and I mean that was just it. Until I'm sure you don't want to hear this one.
I want to hear this. Everything.
Until oh my God, we were still very close until maybe 25 or 26.
Were you married then?
Okay. And then when the parents started seeing seriousness in this relationship, our dad said, "Can't walk without my dead body." And I can remember that there was once, maybe in my dream or in a vision, I just said, if you see over your dead body, then it means that you are going to die soon. Right. But we had a lot of challenges, right, from parents. It was so bad that our uncle said we should elope to his house in UK.
And that means he loved you or he liked you then?
And the mom loved me too.
We should just the dad who was the issue.
And that we should elope and get married in UK. But what did I know? I just felt I'd seen in a lot of relationships, husbands and wife quarreling, fighting, and all of that. And I know that it is not because their parents did not agree to them getting married. So I told people that were willing to listen to me, because at a point they felt I was not serious, that it is better not to get married against parental consent. Because when you face the problems of marriage, instead of you to attack it head on, you would now be diverting your attention to the fact that you don't have parental
consent.
So I just made up my mind that I'm going to. So we dated for many years until maybe 28 thereabout. Before we finally agreed that I should get married to her, but the father insisted no. So the friend's father now said the father should travel. Right? And when they said the father should travel and not witness the wedding, I just made up my mind that I'm not going for any hall or church wedding. Right? I'm going to do the wedding in their house. So we did, but again, the father was rich and very powerful and influential. So he had a church at home. Right? So we did introduction, engagement, church wedding, reception on the same day
in their house. And the father was not in the house.
Father was not there.
So I'm not understanding. When he now returned, okay, then he knew about
yes.
Okay, he knew about we just still want to witness it because he he wasn't liking the idea of the two of you.
When he came back, and I went to go and see him, he was not talking about
it. You had net, so. So you went back to see him. You told him, please, come on, to take us out. Thank you. Finally, you gave me this woman.
out of the house. At least to make me know that my hand is not there. But we eventually made up. Maybe 4 years after. Right. But then the damage had been done because we couldn't be that anymore. Even though myself and the mom we are that.
Wow. So you never got to experience how sweet Uncle Imeh is or was there because Uncle Imeh, except, no, of course, you would have been, this is your person. Right. So you never got to have that big relationship with you?
Well, he never got to experience the
real you.
Right? Because lately he had put a wall between both of us. Because when he grew very old, I wanted me to always be around him. I will always feel cheesy. Right? In fact, there are times that I would travel to. I used to have projects in a school called Olashore International School. Right. On my way back from Olashore, I'll just pop in to say hello to him. And when I pop in to say hello to him, he will tell me to wait, even though it's 8 o'clock in the evening. I'll pack my bags and hit the road back to Lagos at 8 o'clock, simply because I don't want to say hello.
There's another part of it, all the waiting that happened, right? Would you say that your wife also was instrumental in helping you both stay bonded? Like, when you did take the decision because the father wasn't approving, she stood by you.
Yes.
She didn't okay, maybe I should go home with somebody else or whatever. But she stood
I think
until this decision is.
I think she paid the most price.
Right.
And what I mean by she paid the most price is because, like I told you, the father was a very rich and influential person in Nigeria, not just in Malaysia. He was the founder and chairman of the International Police Initiative.
Wow.
The makers of Trophy, Lagardère, and the
Yeah.
Amsterdam, I want them better more.
Okay.
Now, he also was the founder and chairman of Access Bank. So he wasn't somebody that.
Yeah.
But now, for my wife to decide that because of this young man, throwing away. Because he was like, she was just abandoned.
Yeah.
She was abandoned. So that's why I say that she paid the full price. So at times when my mind or my head wants to do think remember these. Remember these.
Oh my God. It's so sweet. No, it's so sweet. And I think I like the parts whereby she got born again first, right? And of course, when you guys parted, there must have been a reason. Let's say, okay, yes, I know God's hand was the first too, because your journey wasn't just a baby journey, it was tough all the way. You have to look the path that you treaded on. You will just know that this can only be God who had saved you all through and then brought you the perfect woman to also be a support system for you, right? And of course, God needed that woman to be very whole, courageous, tenacious, and strong. Why? I just believe that when I had to save her first, I said, "This is my son. You need to help this my son. But for you to help this my son, you have to be strong."
Like I tell people, and I tell her too, that she's the only person that can do it. Because I'm very nice outside, but I can be
Strong-headed. Yeah, go find people like you who are like soft and you have to go deeper. Like there's someone who have gone through a lot of things. All those kind of decisions you have made in your life, that alone will make you very angry. Don't you understand that? It's only God who would have looked at us and said, guy, relax. Those things were just there for a reason. You have to go through that to become the man that you are today. This is so sweet. So you didn't answer my second question. Second question was, having a wife who is also already accomplished. Some of them are already seen some of the questions answered. Well, interestingly, how did that shape your own life?
I don't know whether she was already accomplished. Right? Because we all grew up to the journey together. It's either we are struggling for me to get a footing, or we are struggling for her to get a footing. Right? Simple example, when we got married, I stayed in Lagos, she stayed in Ibadan. So she had to move to Lagos. And she was looking for a job. Right? In fact, even before we got our children, we suffered. Right? We had to wait. And then when the first girl came, right, or our first child came, and I'd been looking for employment for her. We had all been looking for employment. I'm sure that I wrote that application, right? But I did not know where. I can't even remember the name of the company. So they invited her for an interview. Pregnancy was very traumatic, right? And what I mean by traumatic is that every other day we have to go and take trip, right? Because she just could not cope. So when they took her, invited her for interview, a night before we had to quickly go and take trip. And I brought her to the island for the interview, and eventually we realized that it was USAID. Right? So that was the beginning of her career. She worked for an organization that was affiliated or attached to USAID. Anyway, they all were in they call it Comet Building, USAID with them, all of them together. So that's how she started her career, right? And she has gone
levels.
Right? How do I put it now? It's difficult for me to answer that question. And the reason I say that, the reason I say that,
journey,
because there are times when we focus like that, things are not going well with you, right? This and that. We all put in.
So the accomplishment happened as you both were.
You go into it together. It was accomplished as you go.
It was a journey. You had to do together. It wasn't as if one person was accomplished and then we met. Some of the stories we have today, somebody's already one manager and meeting. No, so but you guys grew up into it. And I what I also saw, even when you didn't say all that, trying to squeeze in their child story, was that you guys were friends. Actually, we were real friends. I think that's one of the missing ingredients in today's relationship.
We were good friends, but in fact, when you talk about friendship, I think our love for God
sealed it.
Right? Superseded the bond of friendship. Because there are times when I misbehave, and instead of to give me the love of Christ will constrain her. There are times also when
the same,
right? And I just tell myself, women are becoming we just
kept on going. I think the whole and God was just in the center of what the both of you were doing. That's actually what it is. So most important is God being in the center of whatever it is. Mostly in relationship, God being in the center of both parties. So you have to have that measure. It is not aligning. Things like, because sins will happen or things will happen. Forgiveness is key, and the truth is that if you don't understand how God works, and you're not with God, forgiving will be very difficult most of the time.